The Mackinac Sports Center brought to you by Myrtle Beach Golf Holiday. Reward yourself this spring with a Myrtle Beach Golf Getaway to play two of the top-ranked resort courses in America, Caledonia and True Blue Plantation. Check out the spring golf packages at CaledoniaGolfVacations.com for your next golf getaway. We on Mike and Mike will make our official Super Bowl Stone Cold Red Type locks in 15 minutes. Our predictions on the game, but right now the first of what will be many Hall of Famers to join us on our set with our Subway Fresh Takes this morning. Here he is from the New York Giants, their longtime terrific linebacker, Harry Carson. How are you, Harry? It's good to see you.
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Doing well. No complaints at all. All right, I want to start by putting on your defensive coordinator's cap, if I can. So much of the talk right now in pro football, and certainly in this Super Bowl with Colin Kaepernick, is about these quarterbacks who add this dimension of being able to run around back there with the football. We saw so many do it so effectively this year. I guess a two-part question. The first is, if you're playing linebacker out there, give me a sense of how it's changing what you're doing when the quarterback has that dynamic ability that guy like Kaepernick does.
Well, it's going to make you a little bit more uncertain because with that threat of running the football, that's always in the back of your mind. If he was a proper quarterback, then it wouldn't be that concerned. But it makes the way that you play the game a little more uncertain. And when you become uncertain of what you're doing on the football field, then you're going to make some mistakes.
How will it change next year? Because when we think this offseason, all these coordinators are going to look at this read option. It's almost like some of the teams you played against in college where for 1 week you're playing the option. Well, now we have quarterbacks that are doing it. So do you see that being the time spent in the offseason trying to defense that?
Well, I'm pretty sure coordinators are going to be busy working during the course of the offseason. They're going to be looking at a lot of college film. What did teams do against RG3 in college to defense him? What did teams do against Colin to defense him? So in some ways, you're going to have a different kind of player playing against these players because it's not just the big guys like you used to be, just a big guy plugging in the hole and so forth, but you're going to have guys who are a bit more mobile, who can get off of blocks and get to the quarterback and also pursue and make tackles.
We had so many guests yesterday, Greeny, I forgot who said it, but they absolutely referenced that by saying the players may become a little smaller and more mobile to deal with this if this stays as prevalent as it is and if it grows more.
Well, which then leads me to what was going to be my next question, Harry. Do you think this is the future of pro football with the success some of these young players have had? Do you think we are seeing a real change in the way offensive football is going to be played?
I don't know if this is a fad or something that is, sort of like bell-bottom pants. You don't know how long it's going to be here, It's like the box haircut, the black guys. I really don't know because I can't really look into the future that much. I know that whatever is effective, it's a copycat league, as we all know. Teams are going to try to do it, and if it's going to work, it's going to work. Until you stop it, it's going to be there.
Your choice, though, now, would you take a pocket passer or one of these guys that are having so much success with the read option and control the ball?
I would take a guy much like an Andrew Luck, who has a strong arm, who can be a pocket passer, but who can run if he needs to run. If you're going to rely on a quarterback running the football, you're going to have some problems in the National Football League because you're going to get hit. If you get hit, you're going to get hurt. And, we saw what happened with RG3. He had a concussion during the course of the football season, and then he got hurt, his knee and so forth. But when you expose a quarterback like that to the physicalness of the game, bad things can happen.
Mike Harry Carson, terrific linebacker for so many years for the Giants, now in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Another terrific linebacker plays his final game this Sunday, win, lose, or draw. And there is no draw, and that, of course, is Ray Lewis. I'd be curious to hear from your perspective as one who played the position. What have you seen in Ray Lewis? What do you think his legacy is as a player?
Well, undoubtedly, he will go down as probably one of the best inside or middle linebackers in the game. He's played at a very high level for an extended period of time. He didn't play for 6 or 7 years at a high level. He's played, 16 or 17 years. He's been very effective. He's also been a tremendous leader for the Baltimore Ravens defense and for the city of Baltimore, period. And I from the day that he stepped on the field, he's had an impact till now. And that is so rare for any player to have such an impact, having played for this length of time. So he will go down as one of the greatest linebackers, period, to play in the National Football League.
And we know it's his last game. We had Donald Driver from the Packers on yesterday on our show announced he was retired. Thinks he could probably play some more, but with his family doesn't want to go to another team, so wants to end it. Going back to the end of your career.
No, I think I could still play.
Well, see, I mean,
we all think we can play.
did you know when you were going to end? I mean, did you?
Bill Parcells, I remember we had all kinds of conversations, and he came to me one day and he said, just in conversation, he said, before anybody else when it's time to go. And in retrospect, he was so correct. When you know that as a middle linebacker, I can't get to the edge or the corner when that running back is running a sweep, if I can't get there the way I used to be able to get there in my first year, I know it's time to go. Now, you can play and you can fool yourself and you can fool the coaches, but you know when it's time to go. And if you have any kind of pride within yourself, you call the shots and not have them show you to do it. And that's the way that I've always tried to be. Just play to the best of my ability and not have people say, look at that person out there, I feel so bad.
He's hanging on.
He's hanging on, and I never wanted that for me and my career. So you have to know when it's time to go.
Harry Carson with us on Mike and Mike in the Morning. You got some attention some weeks ago. You called into Michael Kay show on ESPN New York, and the subject, of course, about head injuries and your future health and the long-term health, I guess, of the game of football has been such a big one in recent times in and around football. And you made a comment that you had a grandson and that you wanted to get golf clubs in his hands rather than football. I'd love you to expand on that a little bit here and give your thoughts on the long-term health you think of the game of football itself with all of these concerns.
Well, it's interesting. I was trained to be an educator, not necessarily a football player. I fell into football. And so I look at football from a much different perspective than so many other guys who played the game. Because I played football, I would have been a teacher or a professor or whatever. And so I listened to my own body and I knew things were going on. Even when I played, I knew something was going on, but I couldn't really put the finger on it until I recognized after my career that I was having some neurological issues. So as a result, I followed things that were happening with me, but also I've gone to conferences, I've sat before some of the world's foremost professionals when it comes to neurological situations. And I've learned a lot about this. Now, I started talking about this on ESPN about 1994, 1995. And I mean, there are people around the country who thought I was crazy. But this is such a hot-button topic now. This is something that I've come to grips with for a long time. And, through the whole stint of the Hall of Fame and waiting and so forth, I saw so many players who were smart, sound players, and they started to experience all kinds of problems. And when various players recognized or realized that I was talking about it, they reached out to me. There are so many players who reached out to me, and they told me that they're having neurological problems. And I knew that if I was having these problems, there are probably so many other guys that have the same problems. So this is something that I saw years ago, and I felt a little suicidal when I played, dealing with depression. So it doesn't surprise me that other players who are having these neurological issues, but they don't know, because we're trained to be physical and be mental, but we are not trained to think from a neurological standpoint what's going on, because it's the brain, and the brain controls everything. And so when guys start having these issues, then they don't know what's going on, and they can literally think that they're going crazy. So I've tried to put my message out there about playing the game and about the issues that I've dealt with, and I can very much identify with so many other players right now. Not just the players who are having neurological problems now, but those players who preceded me who are now dealing with dementia and Alzheimer's and Lou Gehrig's disease. So, this is something that I know all too well.
Harry Carson's been talking about this for a long time with us here on Mike and Mike in the Morning, and also also is here today to make sure that men are aware of their statistics when it comes to prostate cancer, which is a very significant issue for all men, really of all ages.
Yes.
And the website is knowyourstats.org.
Yeah, I've been getting my prostate examined since I was like 37. I always go to the doctor every year. And I put myself out there as a former player trying to connect with men that if I can do it as a big, strong football player, any man should be able to do it. Get your prostate examined, especially if you're after the age of 40. If prostate cancer runs in your family, you need to know what your stat is. So it's a very curable disease if caught early. 1 in 6 men will probably have to deal with prostate cancer. I have a number of friends now who 10, 20 years ago, we never even knew anything about a prostate exam, and now they're dealing with prostate cancer. And so some of my best friends are dealing with. So at this age where we are now, especially if you're an African American, there's a higher risk. If you have it in your family, it's a higher risk. So you really need to know your stuff. If men don't want to do it for themselves, they really need to do it for their families. Do it for your wives, do it for your kids. Be around. For me, I want to be around to see my putting in my package, grow old and have the best time that I can have with them.
And put those golf clubs.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Good to see you, Harry Carson. Thank you for coming by. The Hall of Famer, Harry Carson. Drew Brees is on the way. Stone Cold Lead Pipe Locks for the Super Bowl are next. Mike and Mike in the morning. ESPN Radio.
Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It's where America goes to play.
Hey, Let me ask you this. What are you going to do with your tax refund this year? Taxes? Who else to get something? Well, when you get done with your W-2s, put your refund to work for you at AutoZone. Right. From brakes to engine parts, AutoZone has the quality parts, low prices, and expert advice you need to take care of your car. Now is the best time when that refund can go a long way at AutoZone. Before that small job today becomes an even bigger job tomorrow. So make sure you do one thing. That's get in the zone today.
Let's start a movement to lighten our impact. It starts with Reprieve, a fiber that contains recycled plastic bottles. And it really gets going when you choose a fleece beanie, a jacket, even a pair of pants made from Reprieve. So let's get everyone
to recycle plastic bottles.
Buy recycled products.
And join our green movement on Facebook.
That's Reprieve. R-E-P-R-E-V-E. Together, we can make a better world.
Because there's no I in Reprieve.
Reprieve. It's what's in it. Proud recycling partner, X Games Aspen 2013.
Now it's time for your local sports blitz.
I guess you could call it Girls' Night Out at the Big Atlantic Basketball Classic last night. Here's the way the scores looked in the girls' action. George Washington 59, Preston 48. Green Briar East keeps on rolling 65-39 over St. Albans. Parkersburg South 66, Nicholas County 36, and a tough loss for West Side, University 57, West Side 46. Other girls' games, Buffalo 39, Tays Valley Christian 32, Cabot Midland 61, Hurricane 49, Clay County 62, Mocha 44, George Washington 59, Capital 48, Mingo Central 51, Tug Valley 42, Shady Spring 53, Oak Hill 24, South Charleston 48, Nitro 31, Spring Valley 75, Winfield 45, and St. Mary's 71, Tyler Consolidated 49. In boys high school basketball action last night, Cross Lanes Christian 57, Band 38. Greater Beckley Christian 75, Band 55. Liberty Raleigh 78, Nicholas County 55. Ritchie County 76, Ravenswood 62, and Webster County defeated Braxton County 56-38. I'm Dave Kirby. Make it a great day.
Changing your own motor oil can save you money and time, but it can also be messy. From the moment the drain plug comes out, it's anyone's guess where the oil will land. Keep it clean, quick, and easy with an oil change kit from O'Reilly Auto Parts on sale for $5. It includes shop towels, a funnel, drain pan, and hand cleaner. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
I love you too, Samson.
Wait, did you just call me Samsung?
What? Of course not, Janet. That is totally silly. We've been together a long time. Come on. Of course I know your name is Panasonic.
I'm going to my sister's.
Sony, what did I do?
Big screen TVs on the brain? Get to Sears or Sears.com/football before the game for huge savings on top TV brands. This is the ultimate football experience. This is Sears.
When you're thinking about buying a new car or truck, think Beckley Auto Mall. We're West Virginia's #1 volume GMC dealer and Beckley's only Buick dealer. Buick is the face of affordable luxury, and Beckley Auto Mall has every Buick model in all their beautiful splendor, like the turbocharged Buick Regal GS and brand new Encore with excellent fuel economy. And if it's a truck you're looking for, we've got not only the best looking trucks, we've got the best made trucks in America. And there's one more reason to buy from Beckley Auto Mall, and we can sum that up in one word: service. And you don't have to take my word for it. Look around you on the road in southern West Virginia, you may notice there are a lot of GMCs around. That's because once you buy from Beckley Auto Mall, you'll always buy from Beckley Auto Mall. We back everything we sell to keep you coming back. Beckley Auto Mall, proud to serve you, southern West Virginia. Best selection, best price, best service after the sale. Beckley Auto Mall. Winter Brothers, Seaburg, Eisenhower Drive.
I'm Carl Mack at the Ticket Weather Center. Snow showers likely this morning, mostly cloudy the rest of the day with a high near 19. New snow accumulation of around an inch is possible. Tonight, partly cloudy and cold with a low 11. Saturday, snow, mostly in the afternoon, high near 30. Saturday night, snow, low 25. And for Sunday, snow showers likely, mostly in the morning, cloudy with a high near 31.
ESPN. Hey, this is Josh Schimmer from the Southern West Virginia Kings Warriors. You're listening to ESPN Radio 102.3 FM, The Ticket.
Everybody out here behind us just got very excited. What they did? Drew Brees just got here. It had nothing to do with us. That's number 9. We've been sitting out here all week. These people barely even noticed. But Drew Brees just showed up, and now everybody's all excited. So Drew Brees will be live with us here. It's New Orleans, and it is his town. Yep. And he'll be live up here on our set in just a few minutes on Mike and Mike in the Morning. Actually, my wife made this observation yesterday. Stace and I were walking around the French Quarter in the area, and she said she's never seen in any city, and we go around a little bit and certainly go to a lot of the big sporting events. She's never seen a place where there was as much signage related to the home team as there is here for the Saints. Yeah. I've barely seen, I don't want to say nothing, but I haven't seen a ton of Ravens fans. No. I haven't seen a ton of 49ers fans. I've seen Saints fans. They love their Saints. Love their Saints. You know, we were out at Ron Jaworski's party last night. His cigar party. It was a fantastic event right on Bourbon Street. And you're right. I certainly saw some Ravens jerseys and 49er jerseys, but a ton of Saints jerseys and Saints things everywhere. It's very, very big on their team. And as you walk around this French Quarter, every single house, every single dwelling of any kind has the Saints. It has the Fleur-de-Lis. It has, Drew Brees' jersey and a bunch of other guys. Yeah. I haven't seen a single dog walking around that wasn't wearing a Drew Brees jersey. So it is they're crazy with the Saints here, and it's nice to see. And we will talk to Drew coming up here shortly. Mike and Mike are brought to you in part this week by Red's Apple Ale, a proud sponsor of ESPN Radio Super Week live in New Orleans. Introducing new Red's Apple Ale, the beer that's crisp like an apple and brewed like an ale, a little different, little daring. Red's Apple Ale, branch out. As we live.
These are the Stone Cold Lead Pipe Rocks, an ESPN Radio exclusive.
All right, here we go, going for the Super Bowl edition of the Stone Cold Lead Pipe Locks. We'll do these without the sound effects and without the craziness because this is the biggest game in the world. And I'll go first here. Here's what I think. I love Colin Kaepernick, and I think I've told you before, I believe that this pistol offense, or at least some variation of it, I think it is here to stay. I do think it is the NFL of the future. I think Kaepernick could be right up near the top of the list of these guys. Remember, he's got half the experience in terms of games started as Russell Wilson or RG3 or Andrew Luck or any of the rookies. I know it's his second year, but he's only started 9 games. I think that man for man, pound for pound, the 49er defense is better than the Raven defense. I think man for man, pound for pound, the 49er offensive line is better than the Ravens offensive line. I like Kaepernick sort of because there's such different styles. I'll sort of take Kaepernick by a nose over even Flacco as well as he's playing right now. I'll take Frank Gore by a nose over Ray Rice as far as their effectiveness running the football against the opposition defense here. So everything in the world seems to lead towards the 49ers winning this game. I think they're the better team. But there was something about that moment where that ball went over the outstretched hands of Raheem Moore in Denver at the very end of regulation 2 weeks ago that made me say, and you know I believe in this stuff.
I know you do.
Tend not to. That the Ravens are a team of destiny. I don't know if it is Ray Lewis playing in his last game. I don't know if the football gods want to reward him for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because they should have beaten New England last year and they didn't get it done. For whatever reason, I think that the Ravens are a team that just isn't going to lose. I will take the Baltimore Ravens to beat the San Francisco 49ers in Super Bowl 47, 22-16, and Ray Lewis rides off into the sunset as a Super Bowl champ. That is my stone-cold lead pipeline.
No, listen, I have not made it too much of a secret about which way I'm going. I picked Baltimore to win the Super Bowl at the beginning of the season, and I want to look good in my pick. So while I think I understand what you're saying about San Francisco being maybe the better team right now, I'm certainly leaning toward Baltimore. You said the defense for San Francisco is better than Baltimore. True, except this postseason. The Baltimore defense is actually playing better. I give them the credit for that. They're creating turnovers. Kaepernick a little bit over Joe Flacco. I disagree. I'll take Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, what he's doing in the postseason. You look at what Matt Ryan did to get that early lead against San Francisco. Flacco has every bit of the ability Matt Ryan does. Maybe not as good of receivers, but his receivers are excellent receivers. I think he can go vertical on his team. I think that helps Ray Rice in the running game in front of a big offensive line that has switched positions, but they're gelling very, very nicely. So I lean toward Baltimore, and that certainly with San Francisco. I think they have the best offensive line in the game. If that read option starts working, Baltimore could be in trouble, and the defense we know is fantastic. But I just like the way this has been the last 2 years of how are you playing when it matters the most. And right now, Baltimore's clicking. Flacco hasn't thrown the interception. The defense is playing a lot better. I don't believe in your destiny. I don't believe in your fate. I believe in what happens on the football field. And I believe the Baltimore Ravens are playing some of their best football right now. I think that continues in the Super Bowl. I also think, and I picked them at the beginning of the year, now although I picked them to play against the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl, I didn't get that right. But I did pick the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. I'm sticking with that. Baltimore beat San Francisco in Super Bowl 47 by the score of 27-24.
So let it be written.
So let it be done.
Mike and Mike at our Stone Cold Lead Pipe Blocks are brought to you by Peak Antifreeze. When you peak, you win. So we both go with the Ravens on Sunday in what I think is going to be a little bit of a surprise pick as far as most are concerned. Certainly yesterday down at Radio Row, the sense I got is that there is a much more of a sentiment that the 49ers will win this game quickly, because I don't like making a pick to try and justify a pick you made at the start of the season. Had you not made that pick, would you still be taking the Ravens right now?
The way they're playing, I still would probably lean toward them, because it's what have you done for me lately right now. Lately, they're playing pretty darn well.
They certainly are. Ravens and Niners getting set to play Super Bowl 47. We'll do a Super Bowl special on Sunday morning where we will have Liam's mom making her official Super Bowl prediction. But up next, the crowd here is going to get a little excited. Drew Brees is coming up to see us, the quarterback of the hometown Saints. He's live next on our Super Bowl from New Orleans in just a moment.
At Advance Auto Parts, we got hot deals on a cold day and cool deals when it's hot. Currently, it's chilly out. So here's a sizzler from Advance. Peak 50/50 antifreeze. A 1-gallon jug is just $9.99. That's a $3 savings. And that'll keep your car running through the cold like a white wolf through a blizzard. Peak 50/50 antifreeze, just $9.99. That's full throttle savings. Only at Advance Auto Parts. See store for details.
Ready for some driving me crazy. I will stay here forever in the steamy hot shower.
And in the supply of hot water sounds good.
Long time
INNAI.US to see how Renata tankless water heaters can set you free.
Yes, the Golden Blue Report. Made possible as part of the campaign for wise and safe investing. Collaboration between AARP Foundation, the Investor Protection Trust, and the West Virginia Securities Commission, which is a division of the State Auditor's Office.
Made possible as part of the campaign for wise and safe investing in collaboration between AARP Foundation and the Investor Protection Trust.
Seniors are at the top of the investment fraud target list. The West Virginia AARP, State Auditor's Office, and the Investor Protection Trust have partnered to help you identify and stop investment scams in their tracks. A free program called Seniors Against Investment Fraud is being offered throughout West Virginia. To schedule this presentation for your organization, call the State Auditor's Office toll free at 888-SAIF-WVA or visit WVSAO.gov.
First-year Texas Tech basketball coach Chris Walker has a background in the Big East Conference. He started 96 games as a guard at Villanova, playing for coach Charlie Massimino in a playing career that ended in the early 1990s. Walker had 2 stints as an assistant coach at Villanova, the latest between 2009 and 2011, working for Wildcats coach Jay Wright.
Jay's one of my biggest mentors ever. I mean, one thing I learned from Jay is you have to create a culture of caring and realizing that everyone has the same role but different statuses. And you need that type of hard, smart together, playing with pride, and that can transfer to work smart, work hard, work together, work with pride. The way the program building aspect of what he brings to the table and just learning that. And I think every coach, needs to be in a situation where they learn how to build that program.
Walker was an assistant at Texas Tech last year. He took over the head coaching duties prior to the start of this season. And he talked about the obvious differences between Villanova and the Big East compared to Texas Tech and the Big 12.
I noticed it from day one when I came to Villanova. Just first of all, you see the football stadium, and then all of a sudden you see the on-campus arenas, and you're like, wow, the lack of pro atmosphere from the big city standpoint, it just lends itself to being more fan-friendly to students, to alumni and stuff. That's the big event they look forward to going to, as opposed to going to the program. It creates a more fervent fan environment, and I really enjoy it. That's one of the big things I enjoy is even Texas Tech with the guns up and just the pageantry, the history, the yellow cards and all that. I mean, it's really playing the fight song is something that people feel very passionate about.
The Mountaineers travel today. They'll play at Texas Tech at 1:30 tomorrow. With the Golden Blue Report, I'm Kyle Wick, Metro News Sports.
I was all geared up for the party where I'd finally meet Kate, my dream girl. But there was no party, all because I got the flu. If only I got a flu vaccine. Sam got one. Sam went to the party, and he's going to another one tonight with Kate, which I'm missing since 4 days later I'm still down with aches, chills, and fever.
Flu is a serious illness for everyone, even really healthy people. So get vaccinated. Find a location nearby at flu.gov. Brought to you by HHS.
Attention business owners and managers. The 2013 Women's Expo is coming to the Beckley-Rolla County Convention Center the weekend of March 2nd and 3rd. It promises to be bigger and better than ever, and your business can be a part of the largest vendor show in southern West Virginia. Get your business in front of thousands of customers at the 2013 Women's Expo. Call our Expo line now at 304-461-9287. Don't miss the 2013 Women's Expo, presented by Unicare and Setting Ring.
I'm Carl Mack at the Ticket Weather Center. Snow showers likely this morning, mostly cloudy the rest of the day with a high near 19. New snow accumulation of around an inch is possible. Tonight, partly cloudy and cold with a low 11. Saturday, snow mostly in the afternoon, high near 30. Saturday night, snow, low 25. And for Sunday, snow showers likely mostly in the morning, cloudy with a high near 31.
ESPNradio.com. ESPN Radio is 102.3 The Ticket, WMTD FM, Hinton, Princeton, Beckley, and on the web at theticket102.com.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
All right, everybody just got excited here in New Orleans because the Saints quarterback Drew Brees will join us right after this Sports Center, which begins, Golick, with a moment that was about a quarter of an inch away from being really special.
Yeah, I know you love golf, but we know Drew Brees is a quarterback, so he loves golf. Both had to be excited that Phil Mickelson was inches away from hitting a 25-foot birdie putt in his last hole to shoot a 59 at the Phoenix Open. It lifts out. He shoots a 60. It's the second time he has shot a 60 in his career. NBA Thunder beat the Grizzlies 106-89. Kevin Durant goes to 27. Warriors beat the Mavs 100-97. Top 15 in college basketball. Number 7 Gonzaga over Loyola Marymount. Number 8 Arizona over Washington. Number 9 Butler falls to St. Louis, and number 13 Michigan State beats Illinois tomorrow. Big matchup on ESPN, 9 o'clock Eastern. Number 1 Michigan at number 3 Indiana. That's SportsCenter, and it's brought to you by the full juicy flavor of Johnsonville sausage. Visit Johnsonville.com for affordable recipes that are perfect for game time or anytime. Johnsonville sausage is all we do.
Coming up at this time on Sunday morning, I should probably remind you that Mike and Mike's live Super Bowl Sunday morning. And per tradition, Mike and Mike will chat with the commissioner, Roger Goodell. Plus, we've still got a lot to get to today. Hall of Famers Mike Ditka, Steve Young, Jerry Rice, the great Roger Staubach, Packers receiver Greg Jennings, and Super Bowl champion Trent Dilfer. Now, live from New Orleans, here's Mike and Mike.
Here we are, Mike and Mike in the morning on ESPN Radio and live on your TV on ESPN2. We are presented by Progressive Insurance, and it is our pleasure to welcome a guy who's fairly popular in this town. Judging by the noise behind us, the terrific quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. Here's Drew Brees. Good to see you, Drew. How are you?
See you guys. Very well.
Well, I mean, it's almost like a One Direction concert. I was saying that to Brees in the break, that if you really wanted to address people, all this, 5,000 yards business in Super Bowl is nice. But when you did a commercial with Harry from One Direction, my 12-year-old daughter now is a big Drew Brees fan. That must have been something.
That's good to know. Did she hear me sing, though, and then change her mind?
Oh, no, live